Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Another shutout loss, but why will it be a massive week for Atlanta United? We're getting all that more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael, and unfortunately another loss, and we are winless 2 games where we, just looked completely abject. We'll get to that, briefly go over that, really. I mean, let's just not prolong our pain here, but yes, we will go over a lot of other things as well. But before we do, let's give some big shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam. Most notably Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, Nick, Jeff, Patrick, Tom, Brett, and Colonel Ernest. So thank you guys so much as always. The Colonel, indeed. But yes, let's get into this match review. 2-0 loss versus San Jose Earthquakes. Bruce Arena's side. It's a weird thing where we were undefeated going in, but all these good records just seem to be going by the wayside now. It's just we have a tough go of it against pretty much every side at this point. And so, the Earthquakes, no different, even though they aren't projected to be a very good side. They kind of made mincemeat of us, unfortunately. It, a slightly better-ish first half, but the second half, abject, really pretty awful, I would say. But, Earthquakes were they just found a ton of space, and basically we couldn't deal with them. I mean, we were second best to quite a bit, and from wide, they just punished us time and time again, and it just looked like we just didn't have answers for them. But what was your overall take, and maybe, the headline for this match?
The headline for me seemed to be that we didn't learn anything. We didn't keep any of the positives from the game in Cincinnati. There seemed to be a bit of a regression, less, chemistry. Not that there was a tremendous amount in Cincinnati. More defensive frailty, continuous lack of offensive firepower and connectivity, and just nothing in the midfield to connect the entire team together. There was no one area that was uniquely bad. They were all underperforming significantly. One thing I noticed, which is us being on the receiving half of just nonstop guys going down the wings, lumping in cross after cross. It's like playing against, Brooks Lennon and Yurios Yakimakis all over again or something. Just someone who just keeps lumping in crosses. However, these crosses landed effectively, often for San Jose, finding players, back post, near post, wherever. There was guys there waiting, and they were running onto it. It wasn't as if they were just sitting there static. They were running onto it. That type of dynamic, fast play where the winger or the, whoever is lobbing the ball in has to beat the defenseman and get that ball in and not just out for a corner kick, because our defense wasn't in play. They weren't back to support yet. They were just kind of breaking against us. So this was advantageous for them to get that kickoff and not just go for a corner. They got it off like every time. Our guys, Mihai, I think most guilty in these cases, and Barakal as well, and some of our fullbacks too, they just didn't get their feet on the ball to stop any of these crosses. They kept coming in and they kept landing on sweet spots. They could have scored 3 goals almost from these. They scored one from Timo Werner, and another one that was called off, and another one almost went in, but it was just their shot to miss, and they just missed it. Still landed right where it needed to land for them. And then on the other side, on the receiving end of it, our defenders weren't able to stop the receivers either. They were just getting unchallenged headers or receiving low crosses. The guys just couldn't get there to stop it. So both of those just running amok against us, attacking us with speed in transition, and it just blew us up. Again, another instance of our team being just noticeably slower and not being able to handle counterattacks at all.
Yeah. And to clarify for the listeners, is that the first goal, Preston Judd, the second goal was scored by Buda, but was assisted by Werner. But it is this. It's, the fullbacks, Elias Baez, pretty young, still new to this league, obviously, having just come in and not really trained in the preseason with the club. So he's probably a good bit unmatched fit and a step behind, but also Ronald Hernandez, the other fullback, him getting beat by a cross is not anything new, unfortunately. And, it's just one of these things where, if we're talking about first choice, it probably is going to be more of a Tomas Jacob and probably Pedro Amador at this moment, as far as the guys that have the experience, and but those were not the players that were playing in this position, and they were exposed, and it very much was as well where Lucas Hoyos is a player that's he's dividing opinion a lot right now. A lot of fans are.
But before we get to Hoyos, because that's a conversation, let me just finish off the defensive aspect of this with why are we still not playing Stian Gregerson? I think he could have had something to say with his speed and his long legs and his vertical leap to stop both sides of the equation. The cross, get his foot there to stop it for a corner, or defend the guy in the box. I think he could have had a lot to say about that because he's faster and taller and longer.
Yeah. And it is that. I've been harping on it for the last two matches, just kind of perplexed at why he hasn't been playing, even just some minutes. It seems like he's in the doghouse for some reason, and it's, until there is a reason why he's not playing, I'm going to question it, because he seems to be someone, yes, albeit someone who gets often injured, it is someone that has the requisite qualities that we are wanting out of him. And if he is just not the person that is the answer, well, then we need to move him on, because we need to find somebody that Tata will choose as the answer for these type of problems that seemingly is in our squad but isn't being chosen for any minutes. And so it's wild, and especially seeing your players get beat for pace time and time again, and it's just like, there's just I don't know what to say when it comes to that. But on to Hoyos.
They're not it, man. Like they're just not fast enough. They're not dynamic enough. If they can't stop like San Jose on counterattacks, that's not going to be the worst counterattacking team you're going to face in MLS. So if you're getting beat there, it's going to be rough.
Right. And there's an aspect of it because we're playing with a high line and near midfield as well. Sometimes, I mean, it's just a lot to ask of non-pacey center backs. I mean, especially ones that maybe aren't necessarily the most calm on the ball. Yeah, they're okay. But, I mean, I wouldn't say that they are, kind of the guys that around the league, this is the center back that is going to break down a defense if you give them the ball. But there is an aspect too, before we do get to Hoyos, there was a free kick in the second half that, it was a little perplexing. I think Moranchuk initially was on it, and then you had Barakal take the shot. And, I mean...
What are we doing?
Yeah, especially when we really needed a goal. We needed to get back into the game. We needed to score a goal, period. And, we had a on loan center back take the shot. I mean, maybe he's showing out in training, and he is the best option. I mean, he did rattle the crossbar the first time he did take a shot last season, but still, I mean, I think you have to have somebody that I think it's just more.
Why is Moranchuk not doing it? I just don't understand.
Right, that's more shirt on the ball.
Miguel Almiron.
And it's you want your most technically sound players to take those type of shots in those more pressure situations. But it is what it is. But on to Hoyos, on to, the divisiveness of all that. Hibbert, obviously.
I don't think it's divisive anymore. I think everyone just doesn't like him.
Yeah, but it's 2 games. It is a small sample size, and it is...
but he's making, like, ridiculous decisions. Like, decisions you don't need to make. Like, just... they're unforced errors a lot. I mean, we can say, like, yeah, it's unfortunate that maybe he wasn't just quite tall enough for this, even though he is 6 foot. People forget that. But like, he just doesn't seem to be as spry as like a Jordan Hibbert or something like that, or Jaden Hibbert. But like, it's his distribution that multiple games now seem to just go to the other team, and this time it ended in a goal.
Yeah, and I think in that, I mean, that's what Tata's asking, and if there are errors, especially with a goalkeeper that is not used to his back line, I mean, just be really, really real there, is that they have played under 10 games together. And
then boot it. Then boot it if you don't trust him. I don't know why you're passing it half-assed to a striker. Like, I don't.
And
that blows my mind.
He has, and so I'm not absolutely defending everything that he's done, but I think there is something about it as far as trusting the process of Tata and with a goalkeeper, as far as building out from the back. As far as his in the box, command and box presence, as far as when there's set pieces and dead ball situations, yeah, it's leaving a lot to be desired, because it's not that he's short. I mean, he is short for a goalkeeper, but it's that he does not impose himself. He doesn't have probably the jumping ability / the presence as far as enough, I mean, let's just pause, but girth to really make someone kind of be, like, okay, yeah, like that dude in the box, we have to watch out for him, because yes, if the ball goes there, he's got it. We don't have that feeling. But again, on the ball, I think there's a little bit of a caveat here. It's, I think, a little bit early for, yes, he's made mistakes. Every keeper makes these type of mistakes, especially on sides that are trying to play with the ball out from the back. But it doesn't excuse some of the other stuff that is drawing real questions out of the fans. And I think some of that is warranted. Now, it's the real question is, it's like, how much patience do the Atlanta United fans actually have for this? Especially when there are moments that, yes, he does need to make probably better saves. Because, yes, it's like, okay, maybe he needs to save with his feet instead of trying to go down fast with his hands. And there was the heart and mouth moment where he came out of the box and was able to win that free kick. I think he did well enough. I mean, he deserves credit for that. He deserves credit for getting out fast enough. Was it something that really made fans just kind of, oh my god, what are you doing? But it is very much when the Earthquakes found what they needed to do, which was play in behind us. They found the space in behind time and time again, and was beating us for pace on the wings, in behind, over the top of our center backs. I mean, what do you expect out of the goalkeeper, especially at that point? Like, he has to come out, otherwise it's a one-on-one, and he is even more beaten, and it's very tough at that point, because basically in the box that's even more difficult. So I think it's one of these things where his experience
recognizes the danger for sure, so he comes out, and I think he judged it probably correctly in that one time. I'm worried that he may not another time. Maybe he thinks he can get there, but his age prevents him from being able to be as, spry as he used to be. So he thinks he can get there, maybe can't. Because I remember this happened to Brad Guzan once or twice. And I'm just fearful that that might happen again if teams think this is how you beat Atlanta and they keep doing it to us. I expect to see these types of decisions to come some more. So that could end up biting us. But to your point, like I said, he made the right decision, and his experience allowed him to read the danger ahead of time and stop it.
Yeah. And so it's this. I think there is a nuanced take for Hoyos, and it's yes, it's not all bad. We need to be a little bit patient with some of it, because I think Tata knows better than us in that respect, as far as why he's in the side and why he's trying to persist with this. I think maybe at home it makes a lot of sense, because yes, we'll probably have the ball a lot more if we can actually be technically sound with the ball, but we will find out. But yeah, as far as the
one last thing with Hoyos before we move on from him, I did see a lot of negative body language from him in the game, a lot of frustration, maybe anger. I don't know. I don't think it was necessary. I can't tell who is directed it at. I hope it's not the players, his back line. I hope, but like, he's not exactly chewing them out in the second game of the season, getting really upset. But he was like yelling. He was flapping his arms around. So I don't know who it was directed to, but he got very frustrated. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, it's like, I think he, at his age, I mean, he can, I think, be the person that yells at people. I mean, it's, I think accountability for any player, really. I mean, if it's a young guy yelling at an older guy, I applaud it. If it's something that, it was warranted, and there is honestly something that the other player can do better, which, I mean, yeah, it's not like anybody in the back line could really hold their head up really high after that match. So, I think they're all culpable in that sense. But it is this. It's so, to speak on the 11 as well, it's pretty much the same 11. And, to persist with that, I mean, not pretty much, it was the exact same 11. With Sanchez starting and maybe not Moranchuk, where it probably, in my mind, I thought it was more of him type of game, because we needed to be on the ball a little bit more. Earthquakes generally aren't a team that really needed the ball that much, but it kind of was more 50-50 in this, because we couldn't get a foothold. We were really poor in possession, and I think when we actually had the ball, it was just listless kind of horseshoe type of football. And ultimately, when we did have those chances on the break, we couldn't do it on the counter. We just cannot connect passes, and we would wait too long. We would pretty much dwell on the ball for a couple seconds or more, longer than necessary, and the chance is gone, where somebody who was actually making a run isn't getting the ball. And it's just highly frustrating, because it's just more PTSD from yesteryear, and it's just...
I want to drill down on that topic a little bit. So Madison on 92.9 The Game was talking about that these players seem to not be able to trust each other yet. And I thought that was an interesting way to describe the lack of chemistry that we're seeing in terms of the passing and stuff. It's not so much that they just don't exactly map onto each other quite yet about how they're doing things. It's that she used the word trust. There was an element of trust that was missing. That I don't trust for you to make this run or receive the ball correctly or do this or do that. And we've talked about this in the past, where you have some more, gifted players like, Barco not trusting some of his other players and just not doing those passes or keeping things to himself. And that was the reason we saw some excessive hero ball from some players on 99 in the past. In this case, I don't know if that's exactly the case, because we're not exactly saying hero ball here. Maybe a little from Miguel Almiron, but I don't know if that's an issue of trust. I think maybe the rest of it, there's some truth there, and that all these players maybe don't trust some of their other players to make the right decisions, to do the right action that they're anticipating. And I just think that's an interesting comment on the chemistry issue overall.
Yeah, and it very well could be a little bit of that trust in exactly what you're talking about, and apparently what Madison was talking about, in the sense that, yeah, the players, they have to have seen a player do well to trust that they, when they give them the ball, that they will do something with it. And essentially, yeah, if they don't feel that, just innately, they won't instinctively do it. And they won't.
Yeah, because they won't make like low percentile chances. They won't try something experimental or like something crazy. Like they'll do the safe option every time because there's no trust.
Right. And so yeah, it very well could be a factor. I mean, yeah, I think we're just trying to diagnose basically, because it is. Obviously, if we were able to figure it out, then they would be able to figure it out. And if Tata or Ronnie Dyla could have figured it out, then we wouldn't be in the position that we are. So, it's something that, yes, absolutely needs to be really figured out. Maybe it is where we need to do a kind of Ted Lasso thing where everybody on the team, including coaches, goes to the psychologist and very much just talks out what's going on in their minds, because it really does seem like a lot of it is between the ears, and it's just, yeah, like there is talent in this team. They just cannot put it together, it seems. And yeah, it's obviously been highly frustrating for a lot of fans. But yeah, I think, let's get to maybe some of the positives, and if there are any. I think, yeah, Tomas Jakob, again, winning a lot of duels as that number 6. And I think, if he can, whether it's next match or subsequent matches, if he is a guy that can stop those crosses, well, he's going to help us out a lot. And, if he can snuff out those chances, that's, basically we've been hurting on the wings. It's something that, usually as well, a left winger tends to be one of the best players on the opposing side usually. So having someone on the right side that can really win his duels, I think, will be very, very important. But and another thing was Pedro Amador. He made his debut for the season, and a little 20-minute appearance, playing more midfield than most of us would have imagined. And that's, I think, really interesting, because I kind of pretty much pontificated on the fan cams post-match that, maybe it's something that maybe Tata has earmarked for him as something that he has seen that he can do, is probably operate a little bit more in the interior, and not, as well, have that dynamism of being able to put in a good cross that we know Amador can do. Did he take a little bit of a step back last season? Yes. Can he still be someone that plays a little bit more kind of an attacking fullback, like Tata has said, where it's, he recognized that he's maybe a little bit more of a winger in some senses. But yeah, I think it's interesting that he's deployed him in that little bit of a cameo, and if he can bring a little bit more dynamism to our side, I'm all for it, because a pretty much an inverted fullback, quote unquote, like I mentioned, it's a little bit of a misnomer, but still, either way, if you're an interior fullback that plays a little bit more in the midfield, and he was doing that with Jakob and Muyumba, I mean, we get that numerical superiority in midfields, and if we don't get bypassed, well, yeah, that's usually kind of a good thing, that we can play some triangles, play through the opposing defense. But yeah, final thoughts on any of that?
Just everything needs to improve for the home opener. None of that was acceptable, in my opinion. obviously the attack needs to improve. From 0 needs to get to anywhere above 0. The defense needs to be sharper, faster. The whole team needs to be more athletic, more stamina, be able to go a whole 90, be able to keep up with the other team. It just doesn't seem that they've been able to these last 2 games. They've just kind of run into the ground. First game is okay because they're still getting their legs. Second game, kind of the same. But I mean, these other teams don't seem to be having that issue. But they're also passing a lot better than us, and that tends to drain you out a lot faster. So I'd also like to see just the midfield be able to stitch things together. And that's just something we've not had for a long time. One of our biggest issues, run into a mid block, we're not really able to get out of it. Pressing teams are going to snuff us out. Transitioning and counterattack teams are just going to eat us alive, and that's just going to be more of the same until either A, we figure out how to score like 3 goals a game at least, or we figure out how to do, to fix that issues in the midfield specifically, and then so the back stops getting just absolutely demolished. They just can't be being peppered by counterattacks nonstop. They're just going to let a lot of goals in, and part of that is due to the setup of how Tata Martino plays, which you said earlier. But like, if you know that, then you have to really exploit the other aspects of your setup that are giving you an advantage. But we're just not doing that. Need to see more from literally everything.
Mm-hmm. It's well said. I mean, and to add a little bit is that, yes, the attack really needs to find some cohesion very, very soon, because that will relieve, I think, the rest of the side a little bit more as well. Because if we score goals, we will obviously look and feel a lot better just on a whole. And so, if there are multiple goals, okay, if we start drawing games, it at least feels better. And obviously at that point, if we, usually anyway, I mean, obviously you can smash and grab, but if you score more goals, if you're on the ball a little bit more, it tends to, in football, it is a thing where the best defense sometimes is a competent offense where you have the ball. And so if you have the ball and keep it away from the opposing team, yeah, it can go pretty well too. So it's just a matter of, like, these are things that we really need to iron out in order to just have a better time. So but
one touch passing, please. Yeah, that would be great.
Exactly. And because it really is that, like, that's how you unsettle a defense that is maybe playing a little deeper than you want them to play, in a sense. But yep, so yes, that is the match review. LA United will be playing Real Salt Lake this weekend. We'll have that match preview later on for you in this episode. But let's get into the news. And BSE, they've announced a new long-term partnership with American Express, and it will pretty much encompass for all of the AMBSE pretty much teams, including the Falcons, LA United, PGA TSS, and the NWSL team. So they will be a founding partner. So yeah, NWSL already has 2 sponsors. So that's pretty great. That's pretty good. The business part of it is coming together. But you have any thoughts on that before I move on?
That's never been our weak spot, right? Like, the business side has always been pretty good. It's the on the pitch performance that needs work.
Exactly. But yes, moving on from that, Tata Martino did some 17 questions interview with the team, and there's some pretty good tidbits. We'll just kind of highlight a couple things, but essentially, as far as maybe a thing that Tata said, that it's like, okay, this is something a little different. Yeah, I mean, he obviously, maybe not obviously, but Gerardo Martino Jr., his son, is alongside him in the coaching staff, and I think this is a very heartwarming thing. That is it nepotism? Yes, but it is that maybe there is some sort of thing extrapolation wise. If Tata Martino leaves, well, he's got a son here, and it's I don't know if there's some sort of in the future thing if he is good enough to coach, but he was asked, your son Gerardo is alongside you in the coaching staff. How does it feel to share football with him? Incredible. I was never sold on the situation where father and son work together, but the truth is that when I made the decision, it's been incredible. To discuss football with him is marvelous. And yeah, I think hopefully it's something that does come and bear some fruit in that respect. But as well, I don't know if Mike, you were able to read this interview, but you can help me out with the other thing that I wasn't really able to.
Yeah, I did, but I got the other one.
Yeah, but yes, and so also as well that with the 17s, he was asked, "What do you want 17s new and old to know about you?" And he said, "We are going to work with a lot of conviction to help Atlanta United be what it once was in football." And so, yeah, he gets it. He understands that it is something that, Atlanta United fans absolutely want, and it's just something that I think he's gonna work towards making happen. Whether it actually happens or not, of course, remains to be seen. But and last bit is that he was asked, you've already been working with Chris Henderson, but okay, my monitor just completely went black. Here we go. On the acquisitions of some Latin American players, why is the Latin American player so important in your squads? He said, I sincerely believe that the teams that have had success in MLS have always had an amount of Latin American players that have been the spine. But this, for me, always has been coordinated with an American group. The American group was also important for us in that first era. The group made up of Larry, Parkey, Guzan, Garza, and other guys was strong. The arrival of Miguel, of Leandro, of Tito Villalba, of Joseph Martinez was equal. The Latin American and American parts of the squad. So, yeah, obviously there is a young, homegrown type of contingent with LA United, and then obviously with La Banda, the new La Banda that have been kind of hanging out, whether they're Argentinian or Paraguayan or Colombian, and everywhere in between. But yeah, the American group obviously is not as veteran, as experienced, but it is something that I think is probably the biggest difference, obviously, is that, you had a very strong core group of Americans that were, they knew the league very well, and, were a little bit older, and then the younger guys were the Latin Americans. And so it's just the kind of this like, okay, well, how do you balance it? And I don't know if we have that balance in the squad right now. That's kind of probably part of it. But anyway, let's move on to the Guzan show, show.
Let's let me stitch this together actually, okay, because I remember we didn't talk about the previous Guzan episode, which had Greg Garza on it. Greg Garza in that episode dropped a really interesting tidbit that had a lot to do with what you were just talking about, and then that leads into the Guzan episode that we just came out recently. So with Greg Garza's episode, he said his role was basically as the glue that connected the different cultures together. There was the South Americans and the Americans, as you said, and they had a Greg Garza to liaison in between. He was the guy who did that. He apparently does that wherever he goes. He's very good at that. A conduit between different cultures. He's, very well versed in all these different things, and he used that as a superpower in Atlanta United, and helped connect things. Now, my question was, who's our Greg Garza on any team since then? I'm not sure we really had one, and that exacerbated issues that I had pointed out in the past that resulted in developing like negative behaviors and cliques that kind of just reinforced separation of players instead of having guys that could build that bridge in between. I think if we're going to have multiple groups like that, large groups, like maybe 2 groups instead of like when in the past we had like 4 or 5, which fractured the team considerably. But if we have like only like 1 or 2 groups, you still need a bridge there. Who's going to be that guy? We need someone to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's really, to speak on Greg Garza, it's the kind of soccer nomad in him, where he has lived in a lot of different countries and speaks a lot of different languages. He also, yes, Julian Gressel speaks English, but he also was, notably in one of the kind of mic'd up episodes, he was ribbing on Gressel for the whole like Gresselmania thing, and it was. Yeah, it just seemed like he was able to be affable and banter everybody. And I would say there were some people that, at least from outward perceptions, rest in peace, but Anton Walks seemed like one of those guys that, he connected with Mateus Rossetto when he was here. And, you had the likes of Machop Chol, who seemed to be really well liked by a lot of Latin American players. Didn't seem like he spoke a ton of Spanish, but maybe he did. But him and Thiago Almada seemed like the odd couple, and those type of players. But obviously, you need a prominent type of person on the team to be able to really affect things in these cliques. And so yes, I agree, while we've had some, maybe not to the nth degree like Garza was able to affect for LA United. And so I think that's really part of it. And yeah, that brings us to the Guzan show. And yes, there was Emmanuel Latalat this episode, and also a surprise guest appearance by Jay Fortune. But yeah, you were able to watch the whole thing, so kind of give us little cliff notes of what you gleaned from it.
Yeah, I mean, watching for Latte Lot was interesting. I was excited to see what he was, because the club very much wants to put him out there as the vibes guy, to have some charisma to show his off his personality to the fans, to get people to know who he is, because it seemed like he was, before was very kind of reserved and soft-spoken. Evidently, he's not behind closed doors, and at least that's what the players say, and what the club has said. And in this interview, you could tell that that's a bit true. I'd say it's like 50-50. Like he is more so than I was thinking he was. Yet he's still not like, a massive personality that's going to overpower everything. Yeah, as you kind of want for an Atlanta United striker that we've had in the past, right? Those guys they are like divas almost, they're big personalities. So in, relation to them, a little bit more soft-spoken. He seemed to be, at least from my perspective, like very confident, charismatic, very smart and knowledgeable, and very well experienced. So I think like these are all things that make me have confidence in this player. It's obvious why the club wants him to get out there and speak to the media more, and I think that's a great thing he's doing. It's weird to see it not translate on the pitch. You think a guy like this, talking like the way he does about soccer, and that he's going to be scoring a lot of goals, and he has in the past. He just isn't right now, and it's just very surprising. But overall, his story, where he came from, how he dreams and thinks in Italian, and he knows like 3 or 4 different languages. It's interesting hearing his background, and now he's a newish father, and how he's not getting a lot of sleep. I can definitely relate to that. So it's good to look at that. However, I will say they kind of buried the lead a little bit, because man, Jay Fortune coming in out of nowhere. He was not scripted to come on. He just kind of popped in after Manuel Latalat left. And man, did they bury the lead. Brad Guzan and Jay Fortune's banter, their repartee, their back and forth is legendary. I could almost watch a podcast of just them talking to people and talking about things. Their stories that they have together are very silly and humorous, and just like extremely wholesome too. Like big. I mean, everyone talks about how Brad is the big brother to everybody. Very much so with Jay Fortune, and it's hilarious kind of how it pans out. I won't give you any of their stories because, you know, go watch the episode yourself. It's worth watching.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like from the outside as well, it seems like Jay Fortune is that dude as far as, you know, he's connecting all the American players together. I mean, it seems like he is, I mean, almost the one of the oldest as far as, and he's not even that old. That's the crazy part. But one of the oldest of the American players on the team, and you know, obviously was doing really quite well for us last season before he went down with injury, and you know, also, you know, a good Arsenal fan. So it's at least it seems like on social media where there was a moment where he's wearing an old school Arsenal kit, and I believe it was Matt Edwards who was ribbing on him a little bit for ruining the shot with his Arsenal kit, but probably a fan of a rival side. But either way, yeah, Jay Fortune, quite a dude. My mouse seems to have died, so give me a second here. 1 second.
So I'll just I just want to reiterate that, yeah. Like, I've met him in person. I got his autograph when I was having him sign some Topps cards that I have of his. He's a great guy. Personality is just fun to listen to and to talk to. I can't wait to see him back in the starting 11, back really, you know, effectuating cultural change in the guys, creating that chemistry. I think he is a straw that can stir the drink for sure. Hopefully he can do so and get, you know, this club on the right page. And like, you know, I called it a bit of like, he is if there is something of Atlanta United's soul currently, I think he is a significant part of it, and we've been missing it with having not him being in the starting 11.
Yeah, we definitely need it, and it's yeah, because he's homegrown, he knows Atlanta, and obviously has you know, kind of grown up with a number of these players as well. So, you know, there's good rapport, and it's just so vitally important. But yeah, let's move on to a pretty much an announcement. That's I was searching for that word anyway. But basically, Matias Galarza Fonda has been announced by Atlanta United. He is a midfielder by trade, can play as a 6, as an 8, and maybe sometimes a little bit even further forward if Tata was going to choose. But yes, he will occupy an international spot, and he is signed from River Plate through June 30th, 2026 on loan. So with a transfer option in the summer as well. So basically, if he plays well pretty much in the summer, we could maybe try to pretty much make it permanent. But he's 24 years old. He is Paraguayan, and you know, is obviously looking to make that squad for Paraguay in the World Cup as well. So him having not played a ton of minutes, pretty much being surplus to requirements at River Plate, where also Marcelo Gallardo has left, and yes, you know, that maybe could have opened up a little bit of a situation for him, but it is a thing where, yeah, I mean, I think we've been kind of rumored with him long enough that, okay, he probably just like, okay, I can play for Tata Martino. Okay, sure. You know, that probably seems like a better scenario than hope for whoever at River Plate is coming in. So, you know, in that respect, especially when he feels wanted, it made a lot more sense probably for him to come here and at least apply his trade, see if he can kind of get back to, you know, more playing time and probably making that Paraguayan squad for the World Cup. So a motivated player is a good player in my opinion. And yeah, I think as far as what he brings, I mean, he's that kind of a little bit, you know, that kind of destroyer, that guy who will be making that tackle, that that interception in midfield to pretty much shield that defense. But also he's got a pretty decent long shot on him as well.
You know what this guy's frame is? Like how tall he is, how big he is?
Yeah, he's 5'9". I don't know how much he weighs or anything like that, but he seems to be someone that's decently well built. He's worked himself, it seems like, in the weight room. But yeah, probably not going to be someone that's winning all the headers unless there's some surprise kind of jumping ability that we're not aware of.
Some bunnies, yeah.
Some bunnies, some ups. But, as far as, maybe his passing ability, maybe not known for his passing ability, but definitely someone that, will keep it ticking at the very least, keeping it simple. And as long as he can keep it simple, I don't need Hollywood passes. I don't need diagonals that are, sometimes maybe not even that important. Like, yes, you can spread it out, but okay, did we actually do anything with the ball there?
Well, AJ, is this a Darlington Nagbe replacement?
I don't know, because Darlington Nagbe, a little bit more of a central midfielder. This guy is a little bit more of a number 6, but if he can do some of those aspects as far as keeping it ticking, I hope so. I certainly hope so, because yes, some of the other guys were kind of touted as possibly being the heir apparent, and did not. So
no one came close, and people will hold him to that legacy if he plays in a similar position to Darlington, and that will be rough on him if he is just not that guy. Because we've been rough on all the players who have not been that guy ever since Darlington.
Right. I think he's a little bit more in the Remedi and Ibarra mold, where it's you're not expecting a ton on the ball, but you expect, okay, he can keep things moving, but as far as dictating the game, as far as setting the tempo, I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, definitely someone that's, I think we still needed, because yes, playing Tomas Jakob, who's not that role, but has been playing it pretty decently. I mean, more than decently.
Yeah, and hats off to him. If he could just pop into like other roles and just do that well, do a job, he's that's massive. He has been the like exclusive bright spot of like this entire team so far in these last 2 games. It's kind of nuts. Exactly,
yeah. And to have that Swiss Army knife, I think, is going to be really, really key, especially someone that can defend. Like if you're a Swiss Army knife in defense, but you can't really defend, what's the point? Like, it's just, I'm probably alluding to somebody, and you guys can probably guess. But anyway, so let's move on to Atlanta United 2, and yes, the 2026 MLS Super Draft pick Enzo Davlo. He is signed with the MLS Next Pro team. The twos for club option for the 2027 season, as well as the 2026 season, of course. He's a 22-year-old winger, number 12 overall. He's a 3-year collegiate player at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. That is a mouthful. But yeah, guys, get that together. No one's saying all that stuff normally. That's who's saying, oh, I went to University of Carolina, Greensboro. Like, come on, just no. But if you went to that school, I'm laughing at your school. Yes, actually. But yeah. Anyway, but anyway, so he scored 15 goals, 13 assists in 56 appearances, and yes, congrats to him for finally getting signed. But the Twos also played to a 1-1 draw versus the New England Revolution 2 in regulation before dropping the extra point penalty in the shootout 4-2 in the 2026 season opener. But yeah, Liam Butts gave Atlanta United the first lead of the season, and then unfortunately it was a draw, of course. So yeah, they yes, it is no Atlanta United team can win right now. It's just part of what it is. So we'll move on. And that does it for the news. Gets us to the
one or two more things. Small little things. I did notice that Steven Alzate was training individually by himself on yesterday. This is being recorded on the 4th. On the 3rd, when they had media training, there was reported that he was training by himself with an unknown reason. So there was not a given reason for that. So it's curious. And the other thing is, it's kind of like more international news, but the Uzbekistan national team apparently is going to be setting up camp at the Atlanta United Training Center, I guess ahead of the World Cup or something like that. So interesting that we'll be having a team like that nearby practicing in our facilities.
Right. And it's like Uzbekistan probably, they were like, okay, we'll accept being on the kind of further out fields, not on the first team fields, which makes sense to the degree that, okay, I think we heard about Spain and Chattanooga, and Spain is a big team and a team that expects to probably go pretty far in the World Cup, if not win it. And they probably want the whole thing to themselves. They want, the biggest field. They want the finest facilities that can be had. And yes, Atlanta United, they probably weren't able to accommodate that, which is fine. I think that's, we have our things to worry about. We shouldn't be accommodating an international squad at our training grounds, more than necessary, really. So, but yes, definitely, some big teams in and around our areas for sure. So, but yes, now to the mailbag. You guys send in these questions through IG Story and Discord. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But first question comes from who will we go with? Since actually, well, let's see. Nobody from the Patreon actually asked the direct question, so we'll go with Billy Gluckman. When will we score a goal? That is the golden question, man. I hope, for the sake of everyone involved, that it's the next match and everyone will go home happy. I don't know, but
if we don't score in that match, I mean, I don't know what to, like, if ever there was a match that of this year that Atlanta United would peg as the one we need to score in, we really, really want to score in, that will try their damnedest to score in, it'll be this one. And if they don't, that's gonna speak volumes.
Indeed it will. Next question comes from, let's see, a couple things about Hoyos. Grego asks, how stubborn is Tata gonna be about Hoyos? And hold on, if it can show. Put that in the mailbox is what he said. So okay, yes. How stubborn do you think he's gonna be?
I mean, we know Tata to be stubborn, so it's very possible that he sticks with him for a while. I don't see Tata being someone who changes very quickly on a whim. So I could see him being the starting for a while until it just becomes like breakneckingly obvious that like this guy is not working out and Hibbert is just chomping at the bit. It's unfortunate because I really feel like Hoyos has, I would say, like, dropped the ball at this point, and it is now Jaden Hibbert's turn to show what he can do. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stay with Hoyos because like you said, he brought him in for a reason, and he's probably yet to fully see that reason come to fruition. So I think he stays with him.
Yeah, and agreed. I mean, I think he's probably gonna rock it until the wheels fall off. It's
for better or for worse.
Right, until it's blatantly obvious that maybe Hibbert needs to be playing. But next question comes from Connor, staying with Hoyos. What is Hoyos' real height? Well, looking at the the kind of team photo that they take right before kickoff. Well, Oyos is standing next to Mihai and Barakal, who are both 6'1", and he's right underneath them. He doesn't look that much shorter. He looks 6 feet, which is his listed height. And next to Tomas Jakob, who everyone looks short next to Tomas Jakob. So yes, I think he's actually 6 feet. But like I said, he ain't a girthy man. So, it is what it is there. And, I think that affects his ability to command the box. But,
there's his on paper height, and then there's his in-game height, which I think Connor's inferring that are two different things.
Which could be, he could just be a very slouchy man. I don't know. It's either way, it's not helping him in the battles in the box. So, but the fact that I've said girthy now 3 times in this episode is 3 times too many. But yes, moving on. Next question comes from Greatest Moranchuk Fan. We saw the past couple of years with Garth and his strictness to have non-South American players because they, quote, didn't work out. Will we soon see something similar with Tata having an embargo on European players?
I don't think it's going to be like a pendulum swing to the complete opposite end. I think it'll be more measured. I think we are definitely going to go far back to the well of South American and Latin American players. But I don't think he's going to be never again will we ever look at Europe. I don't think it'll be quite like that. So I think, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think it'll be a massive pendulum swing, overcorrection in the other direction. I think that may just shoot us in the foot more than it'll be beneficial. With just closing a door unnecessarily. I think they'll just leave it open. It just won't be as open as it used to be.
Yeah. And I mean, looking at kind of the pattern so far, which is a very small sample size, but yes, there are more South Americans that have started, and yes, okay, the DPs, you can't really, do much about that except for, well, yeah, you can, why Moranchuk isn't starting is probably because he wasn't match fit, but as far as, Manuel Atelat, he's a DP, he'll probably be starting either way anyway. So, but everybody else has some sort of South American connection, even Alzate. But there is that, what you said earlier, where he is training by himself. And why is he training by himself? There could have been a little bit of a fallout with Tata Martino. I don't know. Who knows? But, we will see if, the truth comes to light there. But obviously he did start the first 2 matches, and he's got the, kind of Colombian gene, but he is, but pretty British in the way that he speaks too. So it is one of those things where, I don't know, man, there's a conspiracy there, right? And we can, see how far this rabbit hole goes. But I think, yeah, there will be some European players that will be integrated. I think, it would be naive of us to just go only with one continent for players. And, with Tata, with what he said as well, with American players, there will at least be those balances as far as, Americans, North Americans and South Americans. But next question comes from, let's see, this is interesting. Homer says, why is Tata afraid to admit he is a 3-4-3 merchant? Also, we should play a 3-4-3. Also, what is the chance Tata used the first 2 games as a test to show it was only dial-up? Going along with the conspiracies, let's what do you think about that? I mean,
I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that.
Yeah, I know. It's quite, there's a lot in there and a lot to unpack. To try to guess what you're saying here. Because, yeah, as far as a 3-4-3, he did play that not only, it was more 3-5-2 in the 2018 season, but he also did a little bit of that with Inter Miami as well. So, he's not afraid to play it, I think as far as us playing that, I'm not sure we should. I think we should probably try to play with only 4 defenders first, and try to figure it out, because that also means one less midfielder or attacker. And at this point, yeah, I think we need the attackers. I think we need people further up the pitch, but as well, using the first 2 games as a test to show it was only Dyla. It'd be an incredible show of self-sabotage there. I feel like it's like, why would you self-own yourself just to prove that Dyla was the issue?
Is he testing things? Of course, like, he's experimenting. Right. And there's also like we made a joke about the other week where it's like yeah, but has this team played for Tata Martino yet?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they were bad before, but have they played with, Tata coming in going like, yeah, but have I been there yet? No, I haven't. So maybe things will be different. So it could, there's a bit of that going on, and perhaps while he tests to see what the team has that he can use going forward, because this is what is a lot of people saying is this is trialing, right? They're trialing for the true Atlanta United team that will emerge over the next year.
Exactly. Because, I mean, I think, some of you may have caught where, we were talking about the issues that a lot of Atlanta United fans are having. Obviously, we clipped it for social media. But, there is the obvious thing in the room. The elephant in the room is that, yes, we do need more windows to actually fix this issue. But the grand question is, do Atlanta United fans have the patience for it when we've been waiting 2 to 3 windows for years now? So it is something that's, if we're able to, withstand losing pretty much in nearly, in my opinion, maybe all of the casual fans, then okay, we can try to weather this storm. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have the answers nor the crystal ball to this situation. So, but next question comes from Nick17. What food should I review on the playbook this week instead of talking about Atlanta United? You should review, or you go for it.
I was going to say, any Salt Lake City or Utah dishes that are prevalent, because I can't think of any like that are native to that area that are like, oh yeah, you come to Utah, you eat this. I don't know.
Yeah, Utah is the land of Mormons, so I'm not so sure there's gonna be a ton of very eclectic or cultural food, but I think in any regard, why not review some tasty Indian food? Just go for it. I think it's right before we're about to just get really, really hot. It's a good time to just get some nice curries in. Just some. Yeah,
make sure it's super spicy, Nick, because we know how much you love that.
Exactly. But anyway, so let's move on to another question. Let's see. There's a lot of joke questions in here, so I have to sift through this. But Billy,
that's what happens when your team is a joke.
It is true. Billy Gluckman asks, "What's the best restaurant to cheer me up after Atlanta doesn't score a goal?"
Is this like before lunch where we're getting these mailbag questions? Everyone's very hungry.
I know, it seems like it comes full circle too, as far as why don't we score goals, or when will we score a goal? I think was this question. And then, basically thinking that we won't, which is fair. But yes, what restaurant is the best to cheer him up? What do you think?
I know someone in the chat said Taco Bell after a loss. I don't know if I agree with that.
Highly disagree. With all these.
It's definitely a junk food that would, it's comfort for some people, so I could see probably why they said that, but I probably wouldn't go in that route. I don't know. I always like if I'm not feeling so hot, something is like you treat yourself for a nice sushi place. That would be good for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would be inclined to agree there. That's probably a little bit maybe too highbrow for maybe some of the answers that people were expecting. But yeah, because
Compared to Taco Bell, maybe a little bit.
yeah, and then other people were saying Waffle House, which but I get it, guys. Yes, a lot of people love Waffle House, and it's an Atlanta institution. But you know what?
But it's
also,
not 2 a.m, and I'm not really drunk. So.
exactly. Like my bowels can't handle Waffle House, but I think another Atlanta institution is, at least I think anyway, is La Fonda, and I think that would be a very good comfort food for after Atlanta United doesn't score a goal. You just you get some of the, if not the best salsa in Georgia, really. Their chips salsa combo, delectable, incredible. And then the kind of mix of Tex-Mex and Cuban with their cubanos, with their paella, that's obviously a little bit more Spanish, or their seafood burritos. This might as well be an ad for La Fonda, because yes, La Fonda, if you're listening, come at us. Get us a sponsorship. But anyway, next question comes from Danny Brunner. When do we start questioning Tata? I think by summer window things need to be better already. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, some people are definitely. I remember there was a post on the Reddit where people were saying like, we need the press to really grill Tata on some things already. After 2 games, that some people felt that. Some answers need to be forthcoming, and I think that's correct. I don't think you should ever shy away from questioning someone that you think there could be some issues with. So I'm all for that with the press doing that. I agree with that post. Just don't do it for the sake of doing it. But I think that there are some things that merit some questions, like ones we've talked about today, like with Moranchuk just never going on the pitch because he's nursing something, I guess, or he's worried about hurting something. They want to keep him in bubble wrap for as long as they can. Where is Stian Gregerson? Things like this. I think he should be held to task for, and they should give good answers for. And the press should do the due diligence and ask questions like that. And obviously not in an adversarial sense. I know some people are frustrated, but you still have to keep decorum and professionality and get the answers you're looking for and ask them in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. I think you still hold players, coaches, staff accountable. But yes,
even if it is Tata. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And it's this. With Tata, it is the second game of the season for him, for sure. So I think there is a little bit of a different thing for him. Players, Chris Henderson, it's not just the second game of the season for them. So there is a difference there, I think. So if there's like blame on Tata, you blame him for anything that he's done in the first 2 matches, but beyond that, yeah, I'm hard pressed to justify it. So, but yeah. Also, a question from Danny Brunner as well. Will Amador get more minutes in midfield, turn into a Gressel-like player by Tata? And that's a astute, observation there. I did mention this in the post-match fan cams as well. That's that role, albeit more on the left side, was very Gressel-like as a more inverted fullback, where it was a little bit of a dual role where Gressel did help in some build-up sometimes, but also had that good cross from wide positions. Yeah, I mean, I think he tried him there. It seemed to be a different dynamic that might confuse the defense that we're playing, and I think we need that. I think we need to be unpredictable, and hopefully that can bear some fruit as far as goals. So, but
agree.
Yeah. But all right, so that does it for the mailbag. Thank you guys for sending in those questions. It gets us to the match preview, and 7:30, March 7th. It's the home opener at the Benz versus Real Salt Lake. And yes, it's 14th place Atlanta United. That's us. With a negative 4 goal difference versus 10th place RSL with a 0 goal difference. And the last match for RSL, they played to a 2-1 win versus Sounders. So they have some momentum. They are scoring some goals. That's annoying. But as far as us versus them last time, it was a 5-2 win for RSL in 2024. So, yeah, hopefully there are maybe, yeah, okay. I'll actually take that many goals, but just reverse the scoreline. So, but the last 6, or last 5 really, because we have not played them that many times, we've won 3, they've won 2. There were no draws between us, but yeah, we basically know that, yes, Real Salt Lake is very much a Diego Luna-led team. He is their talisman. He is clear and far away their best player, but you know, there are some key signings for them this off season. Juan Jose Arias, Lucas Engel, Morgan Guilavogi. I have completely butchered that name, but Juan Manuel Sanabria and Stin Spearings were the signings from their offseason. They let go of William Agata, Ruan Cruz, Diogo Gonçalves, Brian Ojeda, and Brian Vera. And so, you know, they're a side that isn't really expected to do that much damage in the Western Conference. They pretty much lie in the spot that the Apple TV talent has them right now, as high as 9th, as low as 13th. So, yeah, them being in 10th is pretty much where they expect them to be for Pablo Mascheroni's side. But yeah, they were in the 9th position in the Western Conference last season. They made the MLS Cup playoffs. They were the wild card, but yeah, you know, aside that, I mean, they will create some chances. They are quite good at that. We will have to make sure that we prevent, you know, those chances from wide, the through balls in behind, but they aren't necessarily a team that will be necessarily playing on the ball very much, but they are a pretty aggressive side, and a side that's are not afraid to take some shots from distance. So, you know, at times, obviously, a little bit more when Brad Guzan was playing, a little bit of our Achilles. But, you know, we'll see what beyond Hoyos's other Achilles, what, you know, what will happen when he gets shots from distance taken against him. We shall see. But yes, some match facts. Atlanta United have failed to score in 5 of the last 6 matches. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in 6 of the last 7 matches in MLS. And Atlanta United have lost 5 of their last 6 matches. So, you know, obviously that goes back to last season. But the odds are in our favor because it's a home match. So 50% home win, a draw at 32.3%, and an away win at 27%. So these are our best odds of the season so far. And
oh man,
yeah. So can we capitalize on it? That is the grand question. But Mike, what would you like to see from the team in order to pretty much make this a dub, or at least, you know, a result?
Shit, man. I think what I would want to see, I don't even know if they're going to play like this, but it would be really cool to see them just like come out firing super fast, you know, just go, score an early goal, and then make RSL come out of their shell, play very spread out, create space, and then maybe we can find another one. That would be amazing. That's how you play a team that is visiting you, that is in hostile territory. You make your stamp early, and you command the game and you control the game from then on out, and you play on your terms, you play your game, and we really get to see what Tata Martino's team wants to do when they're playing the way they want to play. That's what I would love to see. Whether or not that'll happen, I am very skeptical.
Yeah, and I agree there. I mean, absolutely, if we score early to pretty much energize the crowd, that would be ideal. Because yes, if you can get the home crowd on your side, then absolutely it becomes a lot easier of an ordeal. So you're not, at some point, if you're, fighting to score a goal and get back into the game, the crowd's gonna get a little uneasy. Like I said in the fan cams, I fear for what happens at the full-time whistle if we do not win. For the first match of the season, especially on a homecoming for Tata Martino, it's not going to be the best look, but I understand if it happens, why it would happen. But do I want it to happen? Do I, hopefully we figure out ways to just be more positive in the stadium somehow. I hope. I really hope. But let's get to some unavailable players. So it seems like, I don't know, Alzate may or may not be part of the squad. We shall see there. It's unknown right now if Santos and Pical are both match fit yet, so they are probably questionable as well. But yeah, I think beyond that, we'll probably find out a little bit closer if there is somebody that was injured from that time. But I think no real other names have been earmarked as players that are set to miss some time. So it seems like we at least got out of San Jose unscathed. But let's get to our predicted starting 11. And I mean, as far as Hoyos, do you think he's taken out of the between the sticks?
I think he's staying, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree as well. I think Tata's gonna stick with that because also it's like if it's the second game and he's gonna be dropped, what does that do to Hoyos as well, or Hoyos?
Yeah.
It's like it probably just torpedoes his confidence as well. So it's just one of those.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
But and if Hibbert really earns the job, then it's like a whole thing where Hoyos, he's he's gonna actually understand from that point. But I think it's a little bit further down in the season type of thing. But as far as the central defensive pair, do you feel like it persists with Mihai and Barakal?
I believe so. I don't want it to, but I believe it will. I'd prefer Stian be out there, but seeing as he doesn't come on, I guess not.
Yeah. Because, I think I'd probably rather see him over Mihai right now. I think Barakal did have a slightly better game than Mihai, and I think it should be a little bit by merit at the moment. And especially if given everyone is healthy. So, but it's likely going to be Mihai and Barakal. With the fullbacks, do you think it also changes or no?
I would like to see Amador start. I don't think he will, but I would like to see him start. I think it might be Elias Baez continuing in that spot because I think that Tata might like Amador as an attacking option later in a game to come in. Interesting sub, but I think that's a possibility. Maybe, I don't know if they were just necessarily playing him as that sub in the last, 20 minutes, to just get him fitness. I'm not sure that necessarily was the case with the vision to then start him in this game. I don't know. It would be interesting. I guess we'll see what his design is for Amador in the next game. I guess I'd prefer him start, but if he thinks like he could be more useful as this late coming on attacking player, then okay, I'm willing to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think generally I would, especially at home, I would probably try to err on the side of a player that's more attacking, and then later on, if you're trying to protect a lead, then bring on the slightly more defensive player. But I mean, yeah, it's up for anyone's guess what Tata's going to do in this match, and especially needing to get a result, and especially against a side that scored a couple goals last match. It's a question. It's a question of how is he going to play it. But yeah, Hernandez probably is the right back here because yes, with Galarza, I don't think he's probably going to necessarily jump right in. He hasn't been playing for River Plate. I doubt he's match fit. No. So Hernandez probably as the right back. Jakob in the number 6 position for me.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
The real question is Alzate, if he's gonna play a part or not. Not sure. I'm gonna guess it's not. I'm gonna guess it's actually maybe Sanchez instead of Alzate. But what do you think?
Yeah, if there's what I said about him training on his own is indicative of anything, then yeah, I would think you would see Sanchez there. Because I think we're still a ways off from seeing Jay Fortune make a return yet, which is unfortunate, but I really like to see him eventually. But yeah, I think it'll be probably Sanchez if Alzate can't play, because it seems like Alzate, if all things are equal, he would probably start.
Exactly. And, Muyamba probably would get a shout there too. Adrian Gill hasn't really seen any minutes yet, but I imagine he's probably not at the top of the depth chart at the moment. Probably for match fitness purposes, but that doesn't mean he won't in the future. But yes, the number 10 position, which you guys might kind of probably be able to deduce. That's really tough to say, but obviously as well, coming on in the last match, we looked slightly better with him in possession. I think it's Miranchuk in the number 10 position.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Now's the time.
Yeah, especially at home. I mean, I think we need to be on the ball. We need to be able to dictate proceedings, and there might be that space around that D for RSL that we can hopefully exploit a little bit. But as far as wingers, are we persisting with the same, or are you changing it?
I think we'll persist with the same. I would like to see Fafa Picault come on at one point. That would be nice. See some change. Because just the attackers we currently have just aren't getting it done, and if they continue to not get it done, then someone else needs to come on. So, but I think we start with the same ones. Yeah,
and it's that too. We talked about it in the fan camps that Almiron starting on the right, Saba on the left.
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem to work because it's weird. Or at least for Saba, him being strong-footed on the right side and still having a decent weak foot, it does tend to allow him to play more aggressively and affect games a lot more. And Almiron has played on the left for us before and looked decent. I think we should make that change, but I don't know if we will. So, Yep, Latte Lat up top. That's probably as obvious as it comes at the moment. Even though he needs to score a goal. I mean, it's. I think there will be some fans that are absolutely questioning the Tiare move because yes, he was at least scoring at the end of last season. Latte Lat still not really connecting with his attacking compatriots. So yeah, it is something that we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, that gets us to our score prediction. What do you got?
Realistically, I think we lose this like 1-0.
Yeah.
I don't see where we're scoring a goal. Like I just doesn't seem like it's outside of getting a penalty kick we get lucky with. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, yeah, it does seem plausible. I'm going to be a little bit more bullish, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
A 1-1 draw. I think it's, we'll score our first goal of the season, but unfortunately we're not able to keep the lead. And so, yeah, it's, at least we don't lose. So, I don't know. It's not going to be necessarily maybe the result that we're looking for, but hopefully it staves off some boos. Hopefully it does.
Yeah.
But
and Moranchuk's gonna be happy because what is there grass now? On Mercedes-Benz for this game?
Exactly. That there is. But
and at the very least, you and I are going to be happy because we will be at the game and at the tailgate. So come say hi if you see us at the tailgate or at the game. And yeah, we will at least be trying to pump up the crowd from our section, despite how it goes. And yeah, I just hope for the best and for selfishly at least, because I want to see some goals and participate in the celebration.
Exactly. Just we really want just at the base level entertainment, and that's why we all pay attention to this. That's why we all go, right? So, but guys, that's pretty much the entire episode except for the question of the day, and the question of the day is the home cooking the medicine for Atlanta United to get onto the score sheet? Let us know in the comments below, and we will look forward to what you guys have to say. But that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.